Today is July 17th, 2013, at about 10 a.m., and we're sitting with Mr. Don Jones.
All right. Thanks for coming in this morning. We do appreciate it.
You're more than welcome.
It's nice and early. To start out, if you don't mind, are you originally from Craig?
No, sir.
Okay. So if you don't mind just talking about your family background and then where you were born.
I was born in Long Beach, California.
That's where we're from.
Was it really?
Yes.
I moved here in 1958.
Okay. So 1958.
Which was the celebration of Craig's 50th birthday.
Oh, wow.
So we came out, and my dad had, all his family was out here.
Okay. What did it look like when you came? What did you remember about the town?
Had lots of liquor stores, lots of gas stations.
Lots of gas stations.
Yeah, and restaurants, drugstores. I mean, had twice as many than what we got now.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So was the population about the same? Or
No,
smaller?
population was, gosh, back then it was probably 2,500, maybe 2,000.
So you had more stuff than less
More
people.
stuff, less people, yeah.
Okay. But was Victory one way at that point?
No.
No, it was still two-way.
Still two-way.
Still two-way, okay.
Everything was two-way.
And how, if you don't mind me asking, how old were you when you came then?
I was in first grade.
First grade. So being
I bypassed that number in first grade.
yeah. No problem. How did it compare from the hustle and bustle of Long Beach?
Well, you know, we lived in Seal Beach, which was a block off the ocean, was where we lived at on Electric Avenue, if I remember right.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And so so we had a block to the beach, and so as a child, I missed those things, the ocean.
Right.
But other than that, you know, it's pretty small enough to adapt, and learned to love Craig as my home, and I've been here ever since. So.
Right. Okay. How was school when you first came in?
You know, the only school I went to out there was kindergarten.
Right.
So it was hard to
really gauge
it. I mean, first grade was first grade.
Right. So maybe not noticeable in terms of academics or anything, but was your class size small?
You know, we went to the old Yampa admin building was our school.
Right.
It was my school. And that's where I went from first through fifth grade or sixth grade.
Okay.
Was there.
So
class size, you know, 20 kids.
Wow.
We had 2 first grade classes, 2 second grade, 2 third grade. You know, we had lots of kids, really.
Right.
To think of. Right. We had Sunset School was here then. In Yampa, that was the two schools.
Sunset and Yampa. Wow. And what would you do outside of school? What would you and your family do for fun, for recreation?
You know, all my relatives had farms, so summertime would be spent, you know, helping on the farm.
Oh, okay.
My grandpa also had a ranch here, so you know, I'd spend my summers at the ranch.
Right.
You know, we had dairy cows, we had wheat, we had hay.
Wow.
We milked 12 cows twice a day.
Oh.
Took the milk to the local creamery here, which is where Samuelson's at, was the creamery was at.
Okay. So it was nice and
it was
slower.
Slow, but it was, you know, my dad was a carpenter, and my mom worked at the cafes.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, both parents had jobs. And so us kids were, you know, we fended for ourselves, made our own activities, you know, during the school year. You found your own things to get into and do, and you know, nowadays kids don't do that.
Right.
You know, we made things to do.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have 200 channels to watch. I've given some talks to the first and second graders, and they just can't believe we only had 2 channels, maybe 3, and they were black and white.
Yeah, I can't.
And you guys
I can't really imagine that. Yeah, that's not bad. As you kind of came up then through school and went to middle school and high school eventually. Did you continue just working on the farms? Did you work any little jobs or do anything sports-wise?
I tried to play, I did cross-country and basketball and track.
Wow.
Once I got to high school, my father died when I was a freshman, and so then I pretty much, I laid Montgomery Wards, I did all their carpet work for them.
Wow.
I mean, I laid all the carpet that they sold in Craig. That was
Wow.
my job as I was in high school, so that kept me busy. I worked next door at Stevens Hardware, during the after schools and stuff when I could, just to
Right.
to help out the family.
Right. Okay, I see. Okay. Do you remember anything about this building in particular?
I used to play pickleball in here.
Pickleball. Pickleball. Interesting.
Yeah, upstairs was the pickleball court.
How long was that popular for?
Not real long. Maybe,
No.
if I remember right, 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years.
It's coming back.
Really?
In Steamboat, I think they got some pickleball leagues.
So it wasn't just a Craig thing.
No. Oh, no. It was.
Wow. Was it invented in Craig?
Oh, huh.
Oh no, it's
I
it's
think
known other
yeah,
places.
it's known other
Okay.
places. Apparently, you have not played pickleball.
No, never played it. I hadn't heard about it until last week, maybe. Someone mentioned the pickleball tournaments up here. So
Yeah, exactly.
interesting.
Yeah.
Do you remember any of the dances that went on here? Did you attend any of them?
No, I didn't attend any of them. It used to be a roller rink for a while.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. It's a multi-purpose building.
It was. It really was.
And did you? I'm not sure exactly when it was taken out. Did you ever hear about the pool or see the pool down here?
Nope. That was
No.
before my time.
That was before. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this building has just been used for so much.
Yeah.
It's interesting. What did you do after school? What did you want to do?
After high school,
Yeah, after
I
you graduated.
attended one semester at CSU, engineering, and found out that college life wasn't for me. Moved back to Craig and went to work for the county road and bridge department, and been here ever since.
Oh, okay. And what would you do with
In 1979, my partner and I bought Craig Steel, and we've had it for 35 years.
Craig Steel? Okay. So you bought during the boom?
Yeah, it was during the second phase of the power plant. Unit
Second
2,
phase of the power
Unit
plant.
2 was getting. Unit 1 was pretty much done. Unit 2 was just started.
Okay. Did you do any work with the power plant?
Just sold materials.
Yeah, okay.
That was it.
Sold materials, okay. So business was good?
Business was good for a couple of years, and the power plant was done, and
Yeah.
everything tanked around 83, 84.
Okay.
We had a loan at the bank. Interest rate was 24%.
Wow.
And you youngsters complain about 4.5%, 5.5%.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's
but
pretty
we survived
bad. Yeah.
that. So that's credit to us. It was hard work, and we did whatever we had to do to make things work.
Right. Right.
We took on an extra job. We did wild game processing on the side for 18 years.
Wow.
To supplement the ups and downs of the steel market.
Right. So being a small business owner in Craig was difficult after the boom.
Yeah, it was.
Especially with what you were doing specifically with steel.
With steel. Any of the once the power plant was done, you saw a big influx of new businesses come.
Right.
Take the cream of the crop, and once the plant was built, they're gone out of here. Buildings are empty. And,
wow.
Right. But that's the industry.
Right.
Oil and gas is the same way. You see the busts and booms. We've seen probably 3 or 4 in the last 35 years of the ups and downs.
3 to 4 busts and booms. You're getting good info, so I'm just writing a lot. How did you see Craig change in general during the boom? Maybe leading right up to it and then during.
Probably the biggest change in Craig was when I-70 and I-80 went in.
Less traffic.
US 40 was the main traffic across the United States. Then all of a sudden you had I-70 and I-80.
Okay.
Truckers didn't use US 40 anymore.
Right.
You know, they sit on the interstate, which you can't blame them.
Right.
And so, you know, that changes the whole picture of Craig, I feel.
Right.
That's my theory.
No, that's a
You
good,
know,
I mean, that's a good point.
And nobody thinks about that, but, you know, when there was no interstates, you know, everybody, the gas stations, you know, you used to get your windows washed and your tires checked and your oil checked and all that stuff. And we had lots of gas stations, you know, both on US 40 and Highway 13.
That's interesting. You're not the first person to mention all those gas stations, so
Yeah.
Katha's been looking into that.
Yeah, Dan's got to have pictures, you know, there was one in each corner down here except for where the bank's at.
Yeah. Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah,
And
they were.
I know that the Cosgriff
Mhm.
was a major stopping point
Yep.
for a lot of the people coming in and out.
Yeah.
When do you remember when that kind of went downhill, went out of business?
Oh, let's see, when did we tear it down? The city tore that down in 97, 98, so it had to be 10 years, probably in the mid-80s, last part of the 80s,
Wow.
when they shut her down. But yeah, it was a fancy place. I mean, that's where you took your girlfriend on Saturday night to a nice, they had a great seafood buffet on Friday nights,
wow.
and it was packed.
Right.
I mean, it was
And after the freeway, the interstates.
interstates, and you know, just times change.
Right.
And you know, we had drugstores downtown. You don't have any drugstores. You had
Right.
clothing stores for men.
Mhm.
You don't have one. Just have 3 in Craig when I was a kid
Yeah.
to buy clothes. We don't have any now except for Walmart and Murdoch's. And that's same with women. You know.
Right.
I don't know what changed there. I don't know why it happened.
Right.
You know, when the mall went in, they blamed it on the mall. Yeah, the mall was
Where Safeway is?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I mean, Penny's used to be out there. Penny's was an anchor store downtown here.
Right.
And when they moved, got hurt.
Mhm.
But
Not
I
that
guess,
much.
you know, it was more, when people started driving to Junction, you know, the bigger places, and
Right.
I guess, I don't have a clue why the downtown died the way it did.
We heard an interesting theory yesterday that, then again, it's just someone's opinion, but they said that maybe making that a one-way road really
Yeah.
stopped a lot of the traffic flow because you could only go one way so far, and people coming into Craig don't automatically see the downtown because they're routed around it.
Exactly.
So what do you think about that?
Won't disagree there whatsoever.
Okay.
I think the one-way went in, and God, if I remember right, 74, 75 is when they put the one-way in.
74 cents. That's good. 74, 75.
And we've even looked at the city to change it back to a two-way.
But
You know, sometimes you got to understand what you're asking for, and you got to deal with the consequences once it happens.
Right.
I'm not sure we're ready for that yet.
Right. Yeah, that'd be a big change back.
It would be huge.
Right. Did you ever drag Maine when you
Oh,
were?
yeah.
Everyone seems to really have liked that.
You know, where right across from the courthouse, where there's a dental office there.
Oh, right.
It used to be a big drive-in. And
Oh.
you could get big milkshakes and
Wow.
It was called a taste freeze.
Uh-huh.
We'd sit in that empty lot and
Just hang out.
hang out. Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, that was our hangout place right there.
Yeah.
And our afternoon or evening parties is exactly where the power plant's at right now. That's where,
Okay.
as a kid, we used to go.
Oh, okay.
That was before the power plant
was just
built.
open
That
field?
was open
Okay.
wheat fields.
Oh, okay.
Used to be a big red barn out there, a couple of them. And
Wow.
we just go out behind that barn, take your own firewood, and
Yeah. Just hang out back there.
hang out back there.
Wow. Wow.
We had lots of places to hang out.
Yeah, so Craig has really experienced a lot of change then.
Yeah, a lot of
I mean-
change socially.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Kids, of course, kids don't drag Maine now, I don't think.
I don't
If they
think
do,
so.
I don't know where they would.
We see a lot on bicycles, but
Yeah. Used to be a feud city market and Safeway Village and parking lot, but you don't even see that anymore.
yeah,
So,
yeah, it's a lot more. Just kind of move around.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that many kids. I've been here for almost 3 or 4 weeks now, so it's been interesting. We've been told that, and we've kind of seen a little bit, that in the early 80s when the boom was going on, that Craig was kind of a rough place in terms of people with construction workers and heard about Shadow Mountain.
Yeah, construction workers, you had oil field workers, the oil and gas was going at the same time.
Right.
Those guys didn't seem to mix a lot, so it kept the law enforcement busy.
Right.
You didn't take your girlfriend very often to Mathers or Whitehorse or Block.
Those are bars.
Yeah. I mean, that's what workers come to.
Right.
Work, drink,
and
fight.
Right. If you don't mind me asking, were you ever did you ever see any of those fights?
Oh yeah.
And we heard another really interesting story about hats. You could tell the difference in what a person's occupation was based on the hat they were wearing. So ranchers wore a specific type of hat, or
you had the oil and gas and the power plant workers. You had the cowboys.
Cowboys. Okay.
Yeah, and you could.
Those are the major feuds.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Was that? Could you kind of whittle that down to local and part-time people living here?
Yep.
Okay, that was the big feud.
Yeah, the cowboys and the power plant workers, basically.
Okay, that helps. Wow. All right, but for you specifically, when you came and you decided to buy the business, what was your big motivation for doing so?
I was at the county, I was the assistant road supervisor there, so I had one other step to go, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And a buddy of mine owned Craig Steel at the time, and he wanted out, so it was an opportunity I didn't want to pass up. And after we investigated into it and started the paperwork, my partner and I both thought, is this really? Well, I didn't know him from Adam. He was from Meeker.
Oh, wow.
And we'd heard of each other, but we'd really never met each other.
Right.
And so we decided that once we worked together for 6-8 months, and the offer came out, we went in together and filled out the paperwork and became a corporation. And our lawyer at the time said, most new businesses fail within the first 3 years, so 4 out of 5. So good luck, boys.
Yeah.
And so that was a real pat on the back.
Yeah, not very encouraging.
Do we really want to do this?
Yeah.
But we went to the bank with a handshake, got a loan.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have to have, every wife, kid, your dogs, and your 10 cards and stuff for collateral. It was a handshake.
Wow.
And you don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
It's not heard of.
Yeah.
That's the part I do miss is the trust.
Yeah.
The friendly trust.
Right.
You can go sit in there and go to the bank and make a deposit or talk business, have a beer with the banker back in his office, and life was good.
Mm-hmm.
Or if he was having a hard time, you explained it to him, and they always worked with you. And they still work with you. Don't get me wrong there.
Right.
We got a great bunch of local banks, but it's a lot harder to get money nowadays than it was back then.
Right.
And that is probably the reason we're in the shape we're in now. It was so easy during the 80s and 90s to get money.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't matter. If he was breathing, you could get a loan.
Kind of like right before the Depression.
Exactly.
I got it.
And that's, we've done it to ourselves. So.
Right. No, I see what you're saying. Has business been I don't know how to word this. Has it changed dramatically or really at all?
Not really. We still see the ups and downs.
We still see the ups and downs.
It's still based on oil and gas and coal, energy. So, it's a main driver for a lot of businesses in Craig. If they shut down the coal mines and the power plant tomorrow, Craig would be in deep doo-doo.
Right.
Back when I was a kid, there were a lot of ranchers, a lot of wheat, a lot of sheep, cows.
Yeah.
And nowadays, you don't have that.
Not that much.
No. You got 2 or 3 major ranchers that have a lot of sheep, a lot of cows. You got 2 or 3 major wheat farmers, and that's it.
Wow.
The government pays you not to grow wheat.
Right.
It'd be nice if they'd pay me not to sell steel. I could handle that.
Yeah, yeah.
But, that's the way it is.
Right.
Hunting has become a big business.
Are you an avid hunter? Do you like to hunt?
I used to hunt all the time.
Right.
And after processing wild game for 18 years, and we lost the coal mines bought our hunting ground, and so I don't.
Yeah.
I still like to go out. I'd probably take a picture before I'd shoot one.
Yeah.
So, but it was fun. I used to love it.
Mm.
But that's a big business now. It's a multi-million-dollar business for a lot of people in the community.
Yeah.
I supplemented when the ranching was, wheat's still $4 or $5 a bushel. I mean, that's what it was 30 years ago when diesel was only 80 cents a gallon.
Right.
So, without that, a lot of the ranchers would have, I think, went under if it hadn't been for the.
So hunting
is a biggie.
Wow.
When I was a kid, it wasn't nothing to go to your next door neighbor rancher and say, I'd like to go hunting tomorrow. Make sure you shut the gates and watch where you shoot and have at it.
Yeah.
It don't happen anymore.
Right. We've heard about those fees that you're charged. Are they, what are they called?
Trespass
fees. Yeah.
Yeah, they can be out. But, it's...
But they're pretty expensive, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Just for hunting.
Yeah.
Is there
right to hunt.
Right. Is it mostly local hunters still, or do people still come from around?
Yeah, these would be from all out of states.
All out of staters.
Yeah. You're not going to get it.
Wow.
I'm not going to go pay you $500 to go hunt a deer.
That's why I was wondering. Okay.
And the guys from Denver.
Okay.
Very rarely the Front Range are going to pay anything. They're going to bring all their stuff with them, and they'll go to any of the government area, BLM or the forest, and hunt there. But your big guys that...
Do they come here to Craig, or do they stay in Steamboat and drive in?
Oh, they'll come to Craig.
They'll come to Craig.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be the hub of it. Hunting, Steamboat's got a lot of good hunting, but that's more for the different class of hunters.
Yeah. A lot more recreational and touristy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you're saying. How have you done a lot of business outside of Craig? It's mostly been in Craig.
We're pretty much a 150-mile radius.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Of the area.
Have you seen a few other areas develop?
Yeah. The last 2 years, we fabricate a lot of stuff. We got a fabricator we work with here in town, and send a lot of stuff to North Dakota.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And, that kept us busy for almost 2 years.
Right.
With a great boost to our business.
Right.
And that field's slowing down, or they've got caught up, and we haven't done much up there here in the last 6 months, but for a couple of years, it was.
But you've almost had to go far outside, then.
Well, it just happened to present itself and say,
okay.
Can you do that? And we said, yeah, we can do whatever needs to be done.
Right.
Piance Creek, between Meeker and Rifle, that gas field down there, there's a lot of work down there. That's just now starting back up again.
Right.
Not much in the housing market right now.
No.
Steamboat has a little bit more than Craig has absolutely zilch.
Yeah, I think I've seen one house for sale since I've been here.
And only one house was built last year in Craig, new house.
Wow.
And a lot of remodels.
A lot of remodels?
A lot of remodels. People are hanging on to their money, fixing up what they got instead of building new. And we're due for a good housing change.
Yeah.
A new subdivision there.
Right.
Would be nice.
Have you seen any work happen with Shadow Mountain? I'm told they're starting to, or was that before that they developed it more?
Well, my biggest bitch about Shadow Mountain, it was built as a temporary workforce for the power plant. That was it. Temporary.
Right.
And
are they trying to make it more permanent now?
it is permanent.
Oh, it is permanent.
Yeah,
it is
there's
permanent.
outfit, a developer out of Steamboat bought the whole thing. Most all the lots are sold. Individuals own each lot. Maybe one individual might own 4 or 5 lots and rent it back to those people. But no, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere.
Wow. Okay.
City and county are going in together on a grant application to replace the water and sewer lines. We're going to vote on it in November and put new curb and gutter and sidewalks in. And it needs some upgrades. There's no doubt. I mean, but I have a real hard time as a city councilman and a city person to spend money outside the city fixing up something that was temporary. We've had to do that as a city. When the boom was on, a lot of the stuff happened in the county, and then the city, took over that. And we paid for it. So, but I think now we're in the position where we work together a lot more closely, and things won't happen like that again. We're better set up to handle the boom.
You said you're a city council member?
Didn't you serve as the mayor?
Yep,
You were the mayor.
I've been the mayor.
What was that like, being the mayor of Craig?
Perfect. I loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In fact, when my term's up in 2 years, I'll probably rerun again if I can get reelected.
Wait, are you the current?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I thought you...
No, I 6 years, and then that's your term, and then you got to sit out a term.
Oh, I got you.
And so I went back in as a council member.
Okay.
And
well, what kind of changes have you seen with the mayor then? I mean, you've probably seen...
not much has changed in the last 20 years. It's pretty much stayed where we're at, I mean, we haven't grown in population to speak of. Maybe 1,000 people in 20 years.
Wow.
Not much.
What are you sitting at right now?
Just under 10.
Just under 10. That's what we thought.
In the city. Yeah.
That's what we thought. Just under 10.
The schools have lost 200 or 300 students in the last 10 years.
Wow, so schools are losing students.
And I think I'd count that to your younger generation not having kids out of high school. You're waiting until you're financially set, and then either have kids or going, I'm not real sure that's what I want to do. It'd be a tough decision for me right now to be you guys' age and say, do I really want to bring kids up in this? Be a tough decision.
No, I definitely take your point there. Have there been any, this might be too strong of a phrase, but like hot ticket issues that have come up? Bringing in business or taking out a business or...
No, not really. I mean, we've got different issues of different interest groups, but you're going to have that. It doesn't matter where.
Right.
One of the bigger ones that I had to deal with is the deer, Craig.
The deer?
Yeah.
Like coming into the city?
Yeah, I mean, there's deer all over in town. If you drive up and down the streets at night, they're everywhere. When I was a kid, you never saw a deer in town, ever. There was never. But as the county grew outside the city boundaries, it's forced them in. Just deal with it.
People are unhappy that they're in town.
There's a group that would have us shoot every deer that was in Craig.
Really?
Yeah. And then you got the other side that said, leave them alone. They're doing fine.
Right.
And so that was a big contention for a couple of years.
Wow.
I got crucified on a couple of different meetings, but
I didn't realize that was such a big issue.
Oh yeah, it still is. You talk to some people and they hate them, and they are destructive. They eat your trees, they eat your flowers. But you put wire baskets around your trees, or put a taller fence in the backyard.
They're not malicious.
Well, but people say they've had a couple dogs attacked, and
really,
and I threatened them on their back porch. And
by deer?
By deer, yeah.
So I never would have guessed that.
But once they're, they're town deer, they're used to you and me, and they're not afraid. They're not afraid of your dog either. Especially an old doe has got some fawn. She's going to protect her kids.
Right.
And you got little yapping Bowser that goes out there after that doe. She's gonna paw at him.
Yeah.
She's gonna take to him.
Big size difference.
Yeah, there is.
The dog and the deer. Huh. But you would be interested in running. You'd want to run again.
Oh yeah, I would be. I love the social interaction with all the people. I still got a lot of interaction with people. Mm-hmm. And being here as long as I've been here, I still know a lot of people. Right. Even though there is some new ones, and I'm still having fun at it. If I don't have fun, then I'd quit. But I'm still feel I'm useful and have some little bit of knowledge left, and enjoy it. Right. Got to be the mayor during the Craig's 100th celebration. That was one of the bigger. I came here at the 50th, and I got to run the 100th. And I thought, that was.
What was that like?
It was great. I loved that. We had a real small committee of about 6 people. Right. And we put on a fantastic show for everybody that lasted for about 3 months. We did different things. Each month we do something different. Right. And
if you don't mind going into a little bit of detail, that'd be interesting to hear about.
Dan's probably got a lot of pictures, but we have to start off in this winter with a beard contest. And so everybody got their picture taken, clean shaven, and you grew the beard until we opened the capsule up in April. That's what was on the capsule that was buried. Right. So everybody grew their beard. We brought 3 Dog Night in as a band, and that was a great honor to introduce them as a band. Right. We just had lots of
community involvement.
We really did. We had a cone, we had hats, we had T-shirts.
That's awesome.
We had all kinds of little goodies, and everybody got involved, and that was good to see.
Right. So there's still great pride in the community.
Oh yeah. This community has great pride. We've never been short on pride or help. If you want to throw in a fundraiser for a certain family that's had a tragedy, this community has always stepped forward and bit the bullet and did them a great job. They really have. Yeah, that's excellent. That's one of the bigger things I think in this area. We're very helpful people.
Right. So, kind of going off that, what was it like raising a family here?
Back when I raised my boys, it was a lot different than it is now. You didn't have the problems that filter down. Even we're not immune from anything. It's just on a smaller level, but it's the drugs and the alcohol. It's still here. It was here when I was a kid in high school. Yeah, there's no doubt. But both my boys were deeply involved in the school as far as student council or as athletics, and both of them came back to Craig. One kind of stayed here after he graduated from college. The other one moved away for about 12 years, and he finally came back about 4 years ago from Denver. Okay. Said he didn't want to raise his family in Denver. He wanted to raise them in a small community, and opportunity came back, and so he took it. So, which is good. Yeah. We see a lot more younger people moving back after college than what it used to be. When I was in school, if you stayed here, you stayed here. If you left, you never came back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There was no reason to come back. There's probably, out of my class, there's probably 15 of us that stayed here and worked and lived, and the rest of them are all over. And class reunion,
not that many people.
They don't come back.
Wow.
Don't come back.
Do you know why that is at all?
Once they got free, got to see the rest of how the big part of the world operated, there was no reason to come back. And things have changed since I was in school in that aspect of it. Right. There is more better paying jobs. You know, when I got out of school, unless you found a job at the power plant later, there wasn't much here for kids. No reason to stay.
Right. Aside from the jobs there.
Yeah. And that right then was building, and you needed experience. Well, nobody here had experience.
Right.
And so everybody left. They really did.
And they brought in a lot of people who could.
Exactly. That's
Right.
That's why you see Shadow Mountain. That was just for the transient workers for a couple years to build the power plant.
Now, did most of them leave then?
Yep.
So there's not really a divide in the community anymore?
Nope. Okay. No, once they, hired their main people, it's, they're having a bigger turnover now because those people are like me, they're ready to retire. They've been out there for 30, 35 years. And so you'll see a big shift change now.
Right.
Us baby boomers, it's time for us to retire and step aside for you younger generation.
Right.
And so, who knows what that'll bring.
Right. That's really interesting. Were you, I don't think you were, because you said you're waiting for the term to run out. You weren't the mayor when Mitt Romney came?
Yep. No. Terry was the mayor. Carwell.
Okay. Just wondering.
Yeah.
Just didn't know if you can still, if you can speak to that.
It was a great, it was a great event for Craig. You could see his people, Secret Service in town, they stuck out like a sore thumb. Nobody in Craig wears black suits and ties and drives black or white SUVs. It just doesn't happen.
Right.
But it was a great event.
Yeah.
It really was. And I got from me to you from him, and to shake his hand, there was a lady from Dinosaur got in between us and shook his hand. Which was fun. I got some pictures, and I got to be there, and that was,
Right.
I've met the last 4 governors. I've met Hickenlooper before he was governor here.
Oh, wow.
He came up, and got to introduce him. He came up once he was elected, he came up for our chamber mixer, or State of the City event that following February.
Right.
So we had a little forum here for him, and got to introduce him. Ritter.
Wow.
I think the one before Ritter. John. Anyway, Bill Owens was before him.
Wow, you met 4 of them.
Yep.
Wow.
And Hickenlooper, we was at JW Snacks. I don't know if you know where JW Snacks is at.
Roughly. We're going to go there later this week.
We had a little have a beer and meet the governor party there before that. And he got into the State Patrol's car, hit his head on the gun rack. Had to take him to the hospital, get stitches in his head.
Oh, my goodness.
So delayed our appearance at the chamber function about an hour.
But he still went?
Yeah, he still went. He was still a trooper. That's the first stitches he'd ever had in his life.
Wow.
I got to take him to the emergency room. So that was, that's something I'll always remember.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I guess, kind of to close then, how do you feel about Craig now? What is it about Craig that's still maybe drawing people or could draw people?
Yeah, we've still got a lot to offer, as far as outside the recreation, the hiking, you got Cedar Mountain, you got Black Mountain, you got the Dinosaur National Monument, you got all of Sandwash. You got a lot of things to do, outside activities. The community itself, like the Walmarts and the Walgreens, so we've got those kind of people came to Craig for a reason.
Right.
They just didn't build for a tax write-off. They had an inkling that something was going to happen here, and they've been here.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So they know something. They've looked in their crystal ball and said, come to Craig, Colorado.
Right.
I don't have a clue, why they would, but it's been good to the community. They employ a lot of people. The new hospital, that's been a great chicken or the egg. You know, if you build it where you get new doctors, or you got to get new doctors to build a new hospital.
Right.
Well, I don't know, but we built a new hospital and we've got new doctors. So,
wow.
You know, that's helped the medical field. You know, the school system needs some work.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I have my own theories, but from when I went to school here compared to now, it's...
Is it the quality of teacher? Is it the curriculum?
I think it's more curriculum than it is, you know, quality teachers are going to come and go. You're either going to be a great teacher and you want to help, or you're going to be a great teacher, but I only work from 8 to 5
mm-hmm.
in the store. So, you know, there's some teachers that probably need to retire,
mm-hmm.
but there's still a lot of great teachers that care about the students
right.
and care about the community.
Right.
And I think it's, you know, we as a nation have came to the conclusion that, you know, everything's based on test scores. Mm-hmm. Nobody gets back to the basics.
We're both teachers, so.
Are you both? Both my daughter-in-laws are
we
teachers.
We completely agree with you.
What
well,
grade?
I do. 10th and 12th grade in high school.
So you got high school.
Yeah. And,
Elementary.
Elementary. Yeah. My one daughter-in-law is a kindergarten, the other one's 5th grade.
Okay.
And so, you know, I spent a lot of time at the schools
mm-hmm.
talking to the little kids as the mayor or the council member. I love that. I just, you know, kids, you learn a lot. Because kids don't care. They say what's on their mind. Sometimes you learn more than what you should, especially in the grade school part of it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think too much is placed on how well you perform, and they forget the 1 + 1 is still equal to.
Oh, for sure. That was well said. Yeah.
And I really am still a firm believer in the paddle in the teacher's hand, because you know, I got a couple of them when I was in school, and it got my attention, because you knew you were going to get in trouble when you got home. And boy, nowadays, you know, there's no respect.
You're not the only one that's voiced a similar concern that we've had.
Whether you are a teacher or a law enforcement official, you know, the kids can say whatever they want to you, and there's not a darn thing you can do about it. Basically, I mean, you can take him to the principal and he can discipline him or send him home, or, you know, my little Johnny would never say that to you, and that don't work. I feel sorry for you guys. You got your hands cut out. 10th, 11th, 12th grade, those kids are pretty hard to reform, because they've learned all their bad habits all the way through.
Yeah.
So they're pretty well set in their ways. You're not gonna. It's pretty hard to change their mind. I think
as long as, you know, maybe getting a little off track, but I just, you know, as long as you can build that rapport with them, and, you know, you got to work for it. You got to work for the respect. So I think for some of, you know, she and I are both young, and I think trying to relate to the students and kind of like we've been there. I think they feel a little more comforted to say it, like hearing that from someone who may be a little closer to their age.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's easier to build that respect.
Yeah.
I haven't had that much of a problem. And I taught at a pretty tough school last semester. Just a matter of building that respect. You're right. It's harder to earn it. And you really do have to.
You got to earn it.
You have to earn that respect.
You're not born with it. You got to earn it.
For sure.
You got to earn it.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Well, yeah, I enjoyed it.
Really, really appreciate it.
I was supposed to do this for the 3rd grade.
Oh, that project they're working on. Right.
One of my daughter-in-laws was pushing that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we, well, Donnie's wife helped, Misty helped a lot in that part of it. And then Amy also did too, and it never did work out. So I never got down here to visit Dan during the busy time.
Yeah.
When the kids were doing the interviews.
Right. I think Bill Rippey participated in that. Yeah.
See, his dad owned Craig Steele.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't write that down.
Yeah. Bill Rippey and Bob Hawkins both had Craig Steele and Salvage, Craig Hyde Fur.
Okay.
And in fact, that's when we bought the business from Perulas. That's who we paid our money to, went into a escrow of Hawkins and Rippey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. all the connections are so fascinating.
And, you know, a lot of people, you know, we're all related to each other in town. It's hard to, you know, my grandma, or the Duziks, you know, there's 12 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
And so, and they're, of course, all the family is, those brothers are gone. They're all passed on, and, you know, I'm one of the older ones of that generation.
Right.
That's kind of scary. You're thinking, God, your life has went behind you already, you know.
Yeah.
But that's...
You got a long road ahead of you, for sure.
But, you know, we had, you know, big family parties.
Right.
You know, when you had that many people, you know, we'd rent the pavilion for Thanksgiving. You know, we'd have 60, 70 people come for Thanksgiving, or we'd have
oh my goodness,
big parties, and then all of a sudden that stopped. You know, you just, everybody's too busy with time, and so 3 years ago, a cousin and myself, we got that going, and we rent the Center of Craig for Easter.
Wow.
And we'll have anywhere from 70 to 100 for Easter breakfast.
All in your family?
All family members, and that's just...
Wow.
That's not all of them in St. Craig. That's just the ones that come. The ones we want to see.
Yeah, right.
Which is good. That gets you back to your family values, which, you know, everybody says we're too busy, you don't have time. You make time.
Right.
You make time for family.
Right.
Otherwise, before you know it, the only time we were meeting was at funerals.
Yeah.
Catch up with each other. That's okay, but that's not the best way to do it.
Right.
You need to keep those memories alive.
For sure.
This is one way to do it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.